Hello. So, learning Latin may be informed by Buddhist wisdom. I think. I think some ancient history is useful for thinking about this. Uh, like Roman Empire is kind of ancient civilization by modern standards. So, this guy Cyrus seems pretty important. Like the Persian Empire. Uh, so, from like a biblical perspective, I think, as well as the ancient Greeks were very interested in Cyrus. I think from the perspective of like the Bible or whatever, maybe something to consider. I think Cyrus is what allowed the second temple to be built. So Israelites or maybe Jewish people, I'm not completely sure what the chronology is on that. Building the second temple seems to be like the invention of like Jewish monotheism around like 500 BC with Cyrus. Um, Before that, I think in ancient Egypt, maybe 1400, 1300 BC, there's like Adanism, uh, like a pharaoh called Akhenaten or something. But maybe the monotheism that we know of today. Uh, maybe I think people think it maybe comes from around that time period. Uh, like the building of the second temple, maybe due to Cyrus. The ancient Greeks were interested in that as well. I don't think they knew about this. Uh, so ancient Greeks were interested in Cyrus. Cyrus's empire, of course, expanded all the way like close to the border of India, and that's like a similar time frame as when like the Buddha was around, which is maybe something interesting to consider. Around maybe a little bit before the Second Temple, something like that. Um, I don't know how notable that is. So, ancient Greeks interested in Cyrus. I think there's like education of Cyrus. I'm not sure how historical that is. I've heard trying to piece together who this person was. Uh, it's kind of an enigmatic figure. It seems like very important figure. Uh, if this is where history is beginning with Cyrus, then that would be maybe an interesting thing to consider. Uh, we'll probably look at some history before and after this, but it seems like an interesting place to start uh, for trying to learn Latin because the ancient Greeks, of course, later influenced the Romans. It's interesting to see where this comes from, I guess. Uh, and then there's some evidence of there's Greco-Buddhism I talked about in the last video after Macedonian Empire with like Alexander the Great. Uh, there might have been I saw a fragment of something written by a student of Aristotle. Uh, it's like a conversation between Socrates and an Indian that seemed kind of interesting to me. So there could have been some cross pollination, not likely to have been major cross pollination between these two cultures, but there was some overlap. Um, Maybe something to consider. Uh, Romans, of course, very far away from that. Uh, not necessarily super influential, but uh, of course, like Macedonian Empire, like Persian Empire, eventually Macedonian Empire, uh, eventually the Macedonian Empire that they conquered Greece, I think, and then they conquered Persia, which is a very big empire. I think the Macedonian Empire was the biggest empire that the world had ever seen until over by land area until the Mongolian Empire, basically. I'm not completely sure how accurate that is. Um, it might have been, but I think this is an interesting piece of history to look at. So Cyrus is very influential. Uh, I think we still are kind of the world that like Cyrus created is like we're still feeling the effects today. It seems like. You can let me know what you think. Okay, we found that engaging. Have a good day.